Well, Kyle,
Yes, Garrett.
I come to you from the year 1988.
What was the top song of 1988?
Faith by George Michael,
Faith.
Roll With It by Steve Winwood, Need You Tonight by NXS, Never Gonna Give You Up
Wow.
from Rick Astley, and Sweet Child of Mine from Guns N' Roses. Faith.
Top movies of 1998. Bear?
88 appears to be a shit year
Wow.
for movies. These are crap.
What the hell are these?
These are crap. That's not Friday the 13th 7. That's not even a good one.
Roger Rabbit. Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Willow.
Oh, and that horrifying Mac and Me movie.
Oh, that movie's creepy as shit.
Yeah.
Oh, that movie sucks. Let's see what capitalism has to say about it. Wow, really? Domestic box office for 1988. Thank you, Box Office Mojo. Who Framed Roger Rabbit is the biggest movie in 1988?
Wow.
Big-
Die Hard. Wait, No.
Die Hard?
Die Hard?
Whoa, why would that?
Wait.
Beetlejuice? Why isn't this in the top results?
Die Hard made less money than Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
The thing that's shocking me is it made less money than Crocodile Dundee 2.
Wow.
Bambi in 25th place.
Land Before Time. There we go.
Oliver and Company. We were
Okay.
just scarring children in 88.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Throw Mama from the Train. Okay. That's
Fatal
all right. I'm so
Attraction. Okay.
sorry, 88. You had some good movies and apparently some good games that we didn't get in the States. It's first impressions. First impressions, Kyle. Kyle, it's first impressions.
You're never too late to find love. Love might be a strong word. We're still getting to know each other.
We're still getting to know each other, but yeah. We have embarked on our first time ever playing Final Fantasy II. No, not Final Fantasy IV, rebranded as Final Fantasy II for the U.S. domestic market. Actual, honest to God, Final Fantasy II. We are personally playing the Pixel Remaster version of the game.
With CRT lines.
We are using the CRT filter. I think I want to stick with it.
I really like it.
I want to stick with
I think
that.
it's pretty.
I saw some people complaining, but I also saw a lot more people cheering.
I saw a lot of people cheering. I don't think you make everybody happy, but I think it's a bold choice and it looks good, particularly because it brings out the shadows. It really kind of makes everything a little darker. It bleeds together the colors just a little bit. I know it's not the authentic CRT experience. And of course, we're playing the Pixel Remaster, so our graphics are updated. Our sprites are going to be slightly different
It's still
shapes.
sprite based though, and that CRT scan lines improve sprite art, pretty much. Period across the board. It's just true. And I think it's true here. I do like it with the scan lines.
I think it looks good. It's a good looking game, and it starts very strong in the story department. We get a nice little bit of motivation, a rebel alliance.
We get a
big empire.
First off, so we both played Final Fantasy 1. I played it alone. You played it alone. Wasn't a game that we grew up with, even though I had an NES, but I couldn't read when I had an NES. I didn't pick up the skill of reading until I got the Sega Genesis, where I didn't really have to read.
Well, it's word of mouth. Like, how do you even know about these games? Nintendo Power? That's your source of advertisement?
I mean, back in the day, no one in America knew about it because we didn't get it. The history of this game is insane. But yeah, I really enjoyed my time with Final Fantasy 1. I think it's a really it's a cozy game. It's a great cozy vibes. AF. Yeah. I didn't grow up with RPGs. Didn't play them any kind. Jay want to fight if they should even be called JRPGs or otherwise. I didn't play RPGs growing up. I played Pokemon. That was it. And even then it was Pokemon Red. I eventually got Yellow. When they redid Red and then Emerald for the Game Boy Advance, I bought them again. I never played in the in-betweens, and I've dabbled in like X and Y, and that's kind of it.
Yeah, it was basically Pokemon until KOTOR would have been my first serious RPG.
That's a huge leap. But for me, as a an original Pokemon fan, picking up FF1, that was great. I was like, hell yeah, big cozy vibes. I think I've said on this channel before that I've probably beaten Pokemon Red more than any other game in existence. My most repeatedly beaten game. When I want to just calm down and relax, that's what I want to play.
And one kind of supplied that with your party makeup. Here we're doing a huge shift. We have established characters, but you can build them how you want, but they come with starting stats that you can't change. So the characters do lean certain directions if you play into that start. I'm sure you could brute force it, just make main man cast over and over again until he feels better about it.
I mean, yeah. I mean, the first thing we did was pull up status and take a look at their character sheets. and that kind of led us down a certain road, just like Rose led us down a certain road. The frontline backline thing. We were just like, oh, okay. So we looked at Maria had better kind of starting skills for magic. This is very much first impressions. So is it Minwoo?
Minwoo, yeah.
Minwoo's gonna die. Minwoo's stats are too good. There's no way Minwoo's sticking with us. We ended our first stream in the middle of the first dungeon. There's no way Minwoo's sticking with us.
It has been popular in recent gaming RPG to subvert that expectation, keep the old man around, and you catch up to his level.
He's not an old man.
Well, he's got the Obi-Wan vibes, right? He's some sort of leader. He's got spells.
I don't get that vibe from him at all. He is either dead or a villain.
Oh, that's interesting.
I think he's just as likely to be a bad guy and turn on us as he is.
His face is covered. He could do like a big, I'm actually Garland again.
Garland 2. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of surprises right out the gate. The other one we haven't mentioned is our protagonist has a name. Firion, as opposed to we were just the warriors of light in Final Fantasy 1. You could name them whatever the hell you want. They do let you name the characters here. We opted not to, so that it's just easier. So when we say we're talking about Maria, it's not Marion, it's Maria, Guy,
Leon someday.
Whoever takes the place of the corpse of Minwoo. I want to say Mace Windu.
Mace, yeah. Well, we give him Mace. He can be Mace He can be Mace Minwoo.
Do you think George Lucas was a Final Fantasy 2 fan? You know, he's come up with Mace Windu, and he's like, I really like that game I bought while I was in Japan because there wasn't a U.S. release.
With established characters, while they're not immediately hitting with their backstory, there is an element of we have a greater story to tell, and the world is under a greater threat from the Empire displacing the people out of that first city. And it's a pretty cool idea. I love one of the first places you go in a video game is somewhere you can't go. When you enter that town and you're faced by the guards.
Oh, yeah.
They are blocking the building.
Just absolutely wrecking you.
200 damage a shot. You will not survive.
I did find it amusing that they wouldn't attack us unless we went out of our way to click on them. Yeah, it took a little bit of the danger out of it.
Yeah, like sight lines. I actually don't know how advanced that tech is because we're doing random encounters, but like Pokemon, you walked by and they walk towards you and like connect.
Yeah.
Cue ball.
Well, they would pause you if they saw you, and some did turn, and if they weren't currently turned at you, they wouldn't automatically snap to you. They actually had to turn and look at you before it would trigger.
That's right. They were, sentry mode.
There were some that would, kind of rotate.
Yeah. Which is interesting, but I don't think we had that tech for this case. It's still super cute, and the way they blocked the doors made them a required fight for later.
Oh, I think. We might go back and they might be gone. They might pull everyone back for whenever the dreadnought thing that they keep teasing is fully armed and operational.
Fully armed and operational.
Keep talking about the Empire building a super weapon, and I'm just, my brain goes places.
It's a good name. There's Mithril. The baby gate is established by enemies, which is something I really like in Fallout New Vegas, all RPGs.
Baby gate?
Yeah, when you are in an RPG and you try to explore further, but you hit hard monsters.
Oh, yeah. We just like effed off into the forest, and very quickly we were like, that's a werewolf. Can we beat the werewolf? Oh, Jesus, we're all dead.
We got destroyed.
Yeah, it was I like that kind of shit. So overall, first impressions, I'm really enjoying it.
Very positive.
Probably the biggest surprise for me is because this is what happens when you play old games publicly. When anyone knows you're about to go play it, they're going to tell you what they think about that game. Most of them are going to be respectful enough. They're not going to spoil nothing. I haven't really been spoiled on 2. It sounds like there's kind of hard to spoil it, but I've gotten a lot of hot takes on like the quality of 2 and all that kind of stuff. So it seems like Final Fantasy 2 is a fairly divisive entry into the Final Fantasy series. So with all of that in mind, absorbing all of that, like, hey, just so you know, getting weird, it's a bit weird, it's a little different, I don't know what you're expecting, it might not be what you're expecting, just know that. Absorbing all of those things, the thing that surprises me the most is how much of a direct sequel to 1 it feels like. Not direct in that it's like a continuation of the story, but like that overworld, it's like the same overworld. The way you interface with the cities on the overworld of like going in from the south into their inverted U design, but then you still got to go left or right, or if you're Kyle, go straight for the castle and die immediately.
I didn't know the castle was interactable at the end of the town, but that's how the first town in Final Fantasy 1 worked.
Yeah, the towns work exactly the same. And then when you go into the town, the shops have the same icons. The shop sellers function in an almost identical fashion. The language of Final Fantasy 1, now granted we're playing Pixel Remaster, so I'd imagine there'd be some unification of systems and styles throughout, but like this feels like I'm playing Final Fantasy 1 until I came to the realization that there is no job system.
No, those lessons from 1 do translate well. You start taking notes, you discover the quest in a very organic, journal-free kind of way, but you are faced with that first hurdle of, wait a minute, what should everyone be wearing? You go to the first shop and everybody cheers for Cure. And you go, hang on, why does everyone care? Why does everyone want Cure?
Why does everyone want Cure?
Well, because they can. And it's up to you to make them cast Cure enough.
Everyone cheering, by the way, being like the little sprites of your characters, not necessarily chat. Although there were people cheering for Cure in chat.
People do cheer for Cure. You know, Cure is a cool spell. And that's how you influence your character's job and class down the road. And at first, I think it's pretty organic. Like, you get to build what you want. And in the first one, you got to build your party makeup. So here, I still kind of get to build my party makeup. I'm not taking big risks like full red mage gang, let's go. But you do get some choice in there, which is really rewarding and quite impressive. I didn't play NES. I don't know these games. It's so cool to go back in time and see the amazing monsters.
You kind of do. You played Final Fantasy 1 and mechanically it is nothing like this. Class mechanically, it's nothing like this. 1 had a job system. This doesn't. This is like a Bethesda game. It's bonkers to me how modern this feels and Western. It feels like a Western RPG. Like it is open. It is open-ended. And 1 was open in your exploration. You could get so lost on the overworld in Final Fantasy 1. You could go F off, and particularly once you get the canoe and you get the ship and you get the airship, you can really just like do whatever you want, go wherever you want, have fun. There's still a certain order you need to complete some things in, but you can feel free to go get lost. And the same thing can happen here, but boy, it just feels, it's an open world. It just happens to be an open world in, I guess, originally 8-bit. Who knows what Pixel Remaster technically is? It looks more like 16-bit to me. But it's also widescreen, which didn't exist during the actual 16-bit era, and so many things. I think of it as like 16-bit as I'm playing it. Anyway, if it wasn't for its style and my knowledge of the fact that it came out 1 year after I was born, I would say it feels like an exceptionally modern RPG system and something that I associate more with Western and very specifically in America, Northeastern style studios like Bethesda.
You can feel it on the back of one of those boxes or in the description, but that wasn't in their description.
I look back at the 8-bit era and as everyone just trying to figure out what the hell is a sequel to a successful game even look like. Because Mario 2 was not even a Mario game. It was a game that they weren't quite sure was going to get over the line, and they reskinned that sucker with Mario sprites, and it plays completely different to Super Mario Brothers. Mario 3 is, in my mind, the first true Mario sequel. 2's fun in its own way. And then, of course, there's like the famous example, Zelda. Zelda 2 is a massive effing departure from what the original Legend of Zelda was. So like it was a crazy time, and I don't think you're not really aware of the gaming crash that happened. I think it was in '83.
Not at all, no.
Yeah, home gaming almost went away forever. This like the slopware and just the no quality assurance whatsoever on games that were getting released for Atari just ruined public faith in the home console market. And a lot of people point to ET. And while that did play a big role, it wasn't the only reason. There was just tons of absolute trash being peddled for the Atari. It was like the snake oil salesman versions of game development studios popped up. And that's where we got things like the Nintendo Seal of Quality and all those kinds of things. It was just that we were building back in the late 80s. It's a wild time. It's a wild time, and yeah, I see it as very simple. You probably also don't know about the oil crisis. Do you know about the oil crisis?
No, not really. No.
It's why muscle cars went away for a long time.
Okay.
Yeah, our parents lived through it.
I don't see it as innovation for innovation's sake, though. It feels like a natural progression of our previous job system into something more organic.
We know one was fairly heavily inspired by Dungeons & Dragons, as well as obviously Borderland mandated because of the success of Dragon Quest. But boy, does this feel. This feels like a D&D adventure.
Yeah. And you want that kind of organic. In D&D, we get over it by multi-classing to kind of express yourself outside of your main job. I'm barbarian, grr, big axe.
But I know how to bake.
Yeah, that's how I express myself. And I think this feels right until you start to realize some oddities. And the hitting yourself is weird. Like just straight up hitting yourself in order to open up an opportunity to heal is odd. Destroying yourself so that you can be rezzed that's still kind of odd. But when you realize res levels up so that you can have a more powerful res that gives more health on the back of the res, and you need down people, so you're going to down yourself so that you can get that experience, that's where you're kind of like, okay, you could choose to play like that. However, I love the Fire Thunder system. I think Thundera and multi-hit, multiple spells, like Fireball versus Fire, cool stuff. Perfectly fine with it. But I love the idea of fire just being 1 through 16. And that's the whole...
And where you aim it at makes it AoE or not.
That makes it AoE or not.
I do like that system. Yeah, my first impression today is that I quite like this game. The way things level up is a bit obtuse, but it's also like it's just kind of impressive for a game out of the 8-bit era. It's a level of freedom and complexity that I have just never seen out of a game from this era.
It's just adventure, like head north. It's not actually maybe directly north. It's north enough.
Northish.
It's by a lake. Which lake? I don't really know, but I have a canoe and it doesn't work in the ocean. So I'm going to put those two thoughts together and eventually find my town.
And so far, we're not getting random encounters in the river, so you might as well explore on the river. And if not, it's a random encounter. Oh no, I leveled. Oh no, I got Gil. Oh no, it's fine. It's the point of the game. It's the loop of the game itself.
And one had such a strong economy. Like that was one of the things that impressed me the most about it, was that the prices of the items made me want to play more, and the levels I need to beat the monsters made me want to play more. There are so many games you play where you're over leveled, over guild in this case, and you just stop caring about one and the other. You gotta stay hungry in an RPG.
Yeah, that's why so far we haven't messed with any boosters. I think we may have to, because it's picture remasters. You can turn dials up and down, but so far we haven't messed with anything. I use and abuse auto battle, which I love.
Auto battle's
chill. Like, get me through it quickly. Let's go. I think it might get us in trouble down the road.
Yeah.
If judging by the what feels like seismic activity in chat around min-maxing our combat choices, I think we're gonna not get hit enough to not have enough health, not res enough for our res to be worth a damn, not use enough abilities to have enough MP, all these sorts of things. Which is why it's just so funny how efficient it seems like smacking yourself in the face is going to be. But we need to go buy a bunch of absolutely shit weapons. You bought a helmet.
I bought one helmet
with magic
that one person didn't need to wear.
Interference.
Yes.
He immediately went and bought helms for the entire team. I go,
Party of helms.
Magic interference. We just loaded up our archer with a bunch of spells. What? Nah.
Well, because it's just a couple kills away. Free hat. Free hat is
well,
just
eventually
a couple kills
Minwoo's
away.
gonna die, and we're gonna get dead dude's brother.
Leon.
I thought Leon died.
No, Leon's the brother. He's still alive, right?
Oh, so Leon's brother died. Who was the guy that died in the room full of potions where we could have given him potions? There were 3 potions in that room.
Shame that.
It's like all 3 assholes sitting there. So, are we the heroes? I don't feel like a hero.
Maybe he couldn't open the chests. It's probably it's like Final Fantasy 14. The wounds were so great that magic could not possibly. And his revive because he was dying. He was dying body and spirit because he didn't propose to the princess when he should have.
Which, by the way, this game has enough freedom at this point that I was legitimately surprised and a bit disappointed that I didn't have the option of telling the princess that he loved her. It immediately just Furion doesn't tell her.
No, but the learn and ask, while it's a one more click than it needs to be,
is
really impressive.
That system is impressing the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Even the fact that you can just walk up and be like, wild rose, and they'll be like, question mark? That's still just...
It'd be so bad for an actual resistance. Like you just wild rose.
And everyone's like, I don't know. Why is this guy walking around saying wild rose? You know, maybe there's
a guard
something
going,
about this.
what is this wild rose? What is going on? This wild rose.
I'm happy to be quitting as an innkeeper to this whole room of guards. Walk behind my secret wall, won't you?
It's limited tech at the time.
Yeah, exactly.
In a 3D game, maybe it's behind a pillar and behind a half of a, like, who knows? They could have shit hanging. They might have like the most hanging drying herbs of any inn.
Just absorbing
in the
that
entire
sound, you know?
land of, I don't know what the land is called.
Big meat shanks.
Big meat schmanks.
Those big meat schmeats.
The schmeats.
The big schmeats on the wall. Slapping those schmeats.
This man needs to be stopped. Yeah, it's surprisingly impressive. I like it quite a bit. I can see why, if you got on board with Final Fantasy down the road in the heyday of when it exploded in the West during the PS1 era, that going back to something like 2 would be a big surprise and also probably not at all what you were looking for.
If you went in order where you played mostly normal progression and then went back to this, yes. It is funny to say, oh, whoa, this is divisive. What a weird game. When we know things like Final Fantasy 16 now exist.
Yeah, and I'm fairly certain no one even got access to this in the West until the PS1 era. I think that's when the first localized editions came out. There was some sort of collection. I forget what it was called. Just see if we can find one. Be interesting to boot that up on PS1.
Yeah.
You think it's probably just the 8-bit graphics? I bet. I don't think remastering anything was a thing at the time.
That was a much, much later thing.
And I gotta say, I have looked at like I have a lot of nostalgia. NES was my first console. I don't disrespect 8-bit, but oh man, FF1 and FF2 look rough. I am very thankful for the pixel remasters.
Agreed. The monster's beautiful. It's a beautiful game.
Yeah. Yeah, it's some fun stuff. Yeah, it's nuts. It's no character leveling, no job system. The efficiency of hitting yourself, because then you get defense, but then you also landed a hit, so then whatever weapon you hit yourself with also levels up. That is just,
and then you cast a spell to help the person who just got hurt, so you're leveling up your spell.
Which might even just be you. It still might be you, the same character. You could punch yourself, and then on the next turn heal yourself, because everyone can learn everything. You could, through enough grinding, you could make some truly broken parties.
Everyone could be great at it.
Everyone just maxed out in damn near everything.
And I think that's why they have the magical interference, to make sure that it's not a tank. You're not wearing the armor that also gives you that power. And I think that's where we'll see job divides in the future really develop.
I'm curious if down the road there's a way to influence enemies to attack a specific target.
We had that in 1.
Because our backline's getting hit a ton. Oh wait, there was a thing in 1, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was a threat generator.
Yeah, so that'll probably come up. I hope. And I bet you could put it on everybody.
And the obvious evolution of this magic system, where we're now just spamming, is put more than one weak or advantage type monster together. So right now we walk into a room, we see a bunch of goblins, fire them all. But if you put a fire elemental in there, you can't fire them all, because you're going to heal the fire elemental. And now we're getting nuance. And I can see how this game can get pretty nuanced and really enjoyable down the road. It's just that if you hit that ability wall, like not having enough health to survive, going back to the first town and hitting yourself in the face is going to feel weird. So we'll see.
Yeah.
I'm loving the atmosphere. The threat of the Dreadnought and the evil empire. It's very clear. The whole story is being communicated with very few words, which just means I get to kind of project my own imagination on top of these graphics and the story.
I'm having a good time. It's super cozy, which was exactly my reaction to 1, so I'm glad to see that 2 doesn't lose that. And I would imagine most Final Fantasy games are going to keep that cozy vibe, because I associate turn-based with cozy, with relaxing, with not having to speed up or worry about things. I know Expedition 33 and more modern turn-based RPGs turn that on its head a bit, but right now I'm enjoying this. We're doing Savage and Final Fantasy 14 at the same time. This is a delightful chaser. Oh my God. So anyways, subscribe to the channel, because we're streaming it right here, or join us on Twitch. See you for the next Final Fantasy 2 stream.
SupportOurBromance.com.
Deuces.
For Tuesdays.